Hey guys, today we're doing day 16 notes, so we're looking at radians and arc length. So basically the arc length is the measurable distance along the circumference between 2 points. So the formula we're going to be using to do this is S, which is going to stand for the arc length, times the angle, the center angle, times the radius. All right, so S equals the angle times the radius. For this formula to work, the angle has to be in radians. All right. So if we get a problem where they give us degrees, the first thing we're going to have to do is convert that into radians in order for this formula to work. Okay. So on this first one here, they give us the center angle, pi over 3, and it's in radians. We also have the radius, and then we're looking for the arc length. So we just plug that in. So pi over 3 is the angle. All right. 5 is the radius. When we multiply those out, we get 5 pi over 3. If we put that in our calculator to get a number, we'd have a 5.24. We're probably going to be leaving it in this more exact form unless we tell you otherwise. All right. The next example over here, now you'll notice that this is in degrees. So anytime it's in degrees, the first thing I have to do is I have to convert that into radians. So basically I'm going to multiply 90 times 180 times 16. So this right here is the conversion. So when we convert it, we'll end up with pi over 2 times 16 equals 8 pi. Or if we put that in our calculator, we get 25.13, thereabout. All right, so let's do a couple examples real quick so you can see how this looks like. This first one, they give us the central angle is 30 degrees. So this should be a red flag. Oh, there's degrees. I'm going to need to convert to radians the first thing I do. So step 1 is I'm going to convert that. So I'm going to take 30 degrees and I'm going to multiply that by pi over 180. This is what we were doing last week. So I end up with 30 pi over 180. And that will simplify down to pi over 6. So now I have my theta, or my central angle, in radians. So now I can use my formula that S equals theta times the radius, right? So S is that arc length we don't know, times the angle, and then times the radius, which the radius is 3. So I'm going to multiply that by 3, and that would end up with 3 pi over 6 or pi over 2. Okay? Example B here. This one is already in radians. So I don't have to do any conversion. It already gives me the radians. So now I just need to plug in my formula. So that arc length is going to equal the angle, pi over 4, times the radius, which is 12. So I'd have S equals 12 pi over 4, which simplifies down to 3 pi. Okay? C. Same thing. This one, they give it to me in radians, so I don't have to convert anything. So I'm just going to say S equals 2 pi over 3 and multiply that by the radius, which is 6. And then I'd end up with S equals 12 pi over 3, which is going to reduce down to 4 pi. Example D, all right, red flag. They're giving me 225 degrees. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is convert that, right? So first one, I'm going to go 225 over 1 times pi over 180. That's going to give me 225 pi over 180. And if I simplified that in my calculator, that would simplify down to 5 pi over 4. So now I just need to do my formula, right? I need to do my S times theta times radius. So my arc length is going to equal 5 pi over 4 times the radius, which is 4. So I'm going to have S equals 20 pi over 4. And we'll let simplify down to 5 pi. Okay, 2 more examples here for you to look at. These are when they're actually going to give us the arc length, and we're going to look either for the angle or the radius. So in this first one, they're giving me the arc length is 4 pi. They're giving me the radius, which is 10. So I am looking for that theta, or that center angle. All right, so now I'm just going to S equals theta times radius. So I have my S. So 4 pi equals theta, which I don't know, times the radius. So this is just a regular algebra problem, right? So if I want to get this variable by itself, all I need to do is divide or do the opposite or inverse operation. So I'm going to divide by 10. I'm going to divide by 10. That will simplify down. So theta will equal 2 pi over 5. All right, this next one, again, they're giving me the arc length. All right, in this case, they're giving me the theta, and I'm looking for the radius. So R is going to be what I don't know. So S equals, all right, I have my S is 12 pi. My center angle is 6 pi over 5. And the radius is what we don't know. And again, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do the inverse operation. So I'm going to divide by that, right? And divide by that to both sides. And when you put that in your calculator, what you'd get is the radius equals 10. Okay, so that is it for day 16 when we were using that center angle and the radius in order to find an arc length. If you have questions, something didn't make sense, just make sure to email one of us and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. All right, thanks.